What is a winner's mindset? Do you let yourself go into gloom and doom and this isn't going to work and it feels like it's always one step forward, two step back? These are just bullshit comments that people use that don't have a growth mindset. Everybody is feeling the stress of like financial crises in the world. Rather than having to save, what if you could increase your income? Welcome, everybody, to the A Players Podcast, the place where we help you grow into a leader in your field, making a bigger impact on your financial income as well. You see, right now, everybody is feeling the stress of like financial crises in the world. Rather than having to save, what if you could increase the other end so it increased your income as well? See, I believe that everyone should step into wealth. So I'm your host and the builder of very high income earners, Haydon. And today we're going to be talking about the winner's mindset that guarantees success. So let's think about it. Where do we start with this? What is a winner's mindset? Okay. Well, first of all, let's divide the people that haven't got the winner's mindset versus the winner's mindset. Look in your network right now and you ask yourself this. Okay. So, bit of development in the moment. Who would you consider a winner? And when I ask that question, if you was in sports, you'd be thinking, oh, it's so-and-so athlete. If you were in business, you'd be thinking, oh, it's this so-and-so business person. But let me tell you, people on social media that are showing that they're winning aren't winning as much as what you think they fucking are, okay? They aren't winning as much as you think they are. What that does is it shows you, this isn't to put anybody down. This is to show you that you're only seeing the cream on the top of the cake here, right? If you start to cut it down and then study them, you'll start to recognize that there's more to than what you just see on social media. There is the ups and the down days that they have. How do you cope with it, right? How do you deal with that? Anybody that's listening right now, what sort of things have you done to help you in those down days? See, when the up days are there, do you stop or do you carry on going? And when the down days are there, do you let yourself fall with them? A bit like you can imagine like a line graph, yeah? Put yourself at zero, and then some wins are positive, and then you get a few hits, and they're negative. And then you get some wins, some negatives, some wins, some negatives. So are you flatlining along that zero line, or are you increasing on that positive, that up the graph? Are you increasing your success? So the way that you do this is that you need to develop that winner's mindset. Okay, how do winners think? They see winning as they haven't won yet. If you listen to the episode with Stuart Walter, the NLP hypnotherapist that works with elite athletes, he always mentions that the elite mindset is they don't see the gold medal as the outcome. They see something beyond that gold medal. So for you guys that want to hit 100K or 1 million or 10 million, that goal isn't going to get you there. It's going beyond, really accelerating, because you can imagine the goal is like a brick wall, yeah? The closer you run at a brick wall, do you think you'll accelerate? No, because you're going to knock yourself out when you hit the brick wall, right? So why not put the wall even further beyond the outcome? And what will happen is you'll plow through. So this is a winner's mindset, right? First of all, we've got to set what the outcome is and start to think about the outcome different. The financial goal, the whatever it may be, it could be a career progression, whatever the goal may be, think beyond, okay? So second thing is developing a growth mindset. Now, I employ a lot of people in my businesses, and one of the criteria that I look for is to make sure that these people have a growth mindset. What does that mean? Well, look, if you're not learning, if you're not growing, you're dying. And the way that you grow is constant learning. So when you do get that knockback at the negative on that graph, then when do you catch yourself? Do you let yourself go into gloom and doom and this isn't going to work and it feels like it's always one step forward, two step back? These are just bullshit comments that people use that don't have a growth mindset. What does a growth mindset sound like? Look, you can always listen to someone's mindset by the words that they use, yeah, and the way that they say them. So a growth mindset looks like this. yeah, okay, I may have lost this time, but I'm going to make sure I come back and get it better next time. This has just been a good learning for me. So learning is always going to be a priority if you want a growth mindset. And personally, in any of my businesses, especially if I'm looking for a senior team, then I don't employ them if they don't have a growth mindset. Why? Because business is always changing. There's AI, there's new marketing, there's tougher competition always coming out. If you're not learning and your team is not learning, then the business can only grow to the limitation of your people, right? That's why I don't focus on business in these podcasts. I focus on A players. How do you become A players in your world, your game, not anyone else's fucking game, your game? Because when you do, more people want to employ you. More people want to be around you. More people want to pay for your services because you're an A player. You're a leader in your field. You have that personal brand that can instantly get you what you want. Okay. So having that growth mindset, it's impossible. If you're not learning, you're dying. Okay. So building confidence and self-belief. Number 3, build confidence and self-belief. So I'm an organizational psychologist. What does that fucking mean? Well, what you guys want to know is how do you make 100K? What I'd like to know is not just how do you make 100K, what has made people millionaires, deca-millionaires, right? What is the mindset of that? How do I learn about this stuff? I don't talk about the academic stuff as much on this podcast because ultimately it just becomes a big academic podcast and people want to know how to make money and they want actionable steps. So what I learn in the academic world is the things around the different models and constructs that help people to get to where they want to get to. I can talk about this in other YouTube videos and podcasts. If you do want more of this content, by the way, just comment in the comments below and I will start to give you some more academic content. Just comment academic and I'll put some academic models in there that you can use. Thank you for listening to the podcast so far. A quick reminder that the iPlayers podcast and community remains free. The reason we do this podcast is because I believe that a great question to ask is what advice would you give your younger self? For me, I wish I had a guide that showed me the exact steps to reach 100K a year in any job and how much my life would be accelerated if I'd cut through that noise and just focused on those steps. We do not run ads or endorse sponsors because it is our mission to give back and share with you, the listener, knowledge gained from working with highly successful individuals and extensive research in management science so that everyone has access to tools that can accelerate their income and give them the opportunity to step into wealth. In line with allowing us to achieve that mission, we ask that you think about how did you end up on this podcast today? Maybe it was through finding it on YouTube or Spotify or word of mouth. So please help feed forward by subscribing to the podcast and also share this podcast with another leader like you that you feel this podcast could really help out in helping them increase their personal income too. Let's get back to the show. So I learned this stuff so I can study the people that are making it happen and translate it into a world where people are fucking real. Yeah, real people. So I start to use that content and help you guys make a lot more money. But something that really stands out is the model of psychological capital. Okay, so the research around psychological capital is about not just how you can develop somebody's skills, yeah, and their traits. You've got to work with someone's traits that are very stuck in place. If somebody has this certain trait, most likely it's very difficult to change. But from the day to day, people's state shifts. Yeah, sometimes people don't feel like it. Some people feel like they do. What about if you could make them feel like they do more often? So we need to think about what comes in between to help develop that. Things like confidence, which is self-efficacy. Yeah. Confidence, self-efficacy is the confidence to actually carry out the task that you're doing. Goal setting, not just goal setting, but pathfinding around the goals. Someone's optimism. Yeah. If someone's always pessimist around it, then guess what? They'll always look for the problem of why they can't grow rather than why they can grow. And guess what? Nothing is ever fucking perfect either. Yeah. So if you're looking at the negative all the time, you'll never see the positives as well. And the final one is resilience. Yeah. You got to have that resilience, which means bounce back. When you get knocked down, how do you learn from it? How do you grow? So next one, step 4, maintain focus and motivation. The psychological capital stuff I've just given you, why do you think I gave it you? Because it keeps you in a state of more confidence and motivation more often. You see, they can't just ask for motivation. Yeah. What you do is you change those 4 things in psychological capital, and that gives you motivation because it influences your state. And I'm not just picking these 4 things out the fucking air, by the way, or chat GPT like I showed you in previous episodes. What I'm doing is using the actual scientific model of psychological capital, Fred Luthan's. Go and look it up. There isn't that much about it because it's just coming out. But just like what happened with emotional intelligence, PsyCap will be huge in the future. And it's just a matter of time until it's revealed. You see, the academic world is way, way ahead of the YouTube world right now. It just takes time because it's not popular. Yeah. Popularity is what puts it out into the real world. So, maintaining focus and motivation. We speak about this in a lot of podcasts as well. You've got to keep that focus clear. Stop getting distracted. I call them ghost rabbits. Yeah, a ghost rabbit. Check this out. So, a ghost rabbit is, ever heard the saying, you're just chasing a rabbit down the rabbit hole? Yeah. You're going down a rabbit hole that doesn't fucking matter. It's not going to get you where you want to get to, right? So, why do you find the holes that do get you where you want to get to? Find out your direction and keep absolute clarity. Stop getting distracted. Now, I get this with my two girls. When it comes from bath time in the evenings, they'll come out and they'll be running around. You know, I'm trying to get them changed. You know, young kids, by the way, 2 years and a 4-year-old, and they're trying to play just before bedtime, etc. And I'm just like, put your fucking pajamas on. Well, I don't say fucking pajamas, but you get what I'm saying. Just put your pajamas on and let's get stuff done. I'm very objective. This is what needs to be done. And they are like, wow, now it's time to have a party, right? So we've got this saying. Yeah, they always, they become very competitive, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be the winner, and I'm going to be the one that brushes my teeth first, and all this stuff," and they get really sad. And I'm like, "Look, you know, you got the winner's mindset, right, girls? But you've also got to recognize that winning doesn't just mean that you are first. Winning means that you're actually winning of the actual outcome that you're trying to achieve, which is keep your sister happy, be likable." Yeah. So actually think about what the outcome is that you're trying to achieve here. But they don't get that. They only see winning as the first person to brush their teeth and get into bed. So, but when they don't, they get very upset. So what we say now is that we say, look, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. So when the other one's running off and trying to chase, play with toys and things like that, I remind them, if you get distracted, what happens? Oh, yeah, we don't win. Okay, well, isn't that interesting? Because the foundation of that is exactly what people are doing within business or within anything that they do. They get distracted by the next thing that they've seen on YouTube or Spotify or whatever it may be, and they go and go, well, I'm going to try this instead. Instead, what do? You've got to stick at it and build that resilience in doing it. So stay focused and don't get distracted. The reason it's a ghost rabbit is because you follow it down the rabbit hole, and it's a ghost because it's not going to lead to anything. You're just chasing this mythical thing, which is never actually going to be there when you do it. Remember watching those ghost programs when you was a kid or anything like that? And you'd watch it all night to hopefully see a ghost. There's never a bloody ghost. Yeah, because it was just there for the entertainment. It was never actually a ghost there because there isn't any ghosts. So there you go. So here's the conclusion then. Make sure that you have that winner's mindset. Yeah. Develop the growth mindset around it. Stay focused. Remember the psychological capital, the 4 elements of it that's going to help you stay at a more positive state so that you can develop a winner's mindset that guarantees success. Be great.